Thank you all for coming back to the TFF podcast, episode 7 here, and we're here with Tom today. Thank you for joining us today. Come on.
Appreciate you guys. Thanks for having me on. It's a mad experience, you know. About a year and a half ago, I was chilling in my room, you know, trading. And look where we're at now on the TFF.
Absolutely.
100%. How old are you, by the way?
Well, I'm 18, so...
18?
Bloody hell.
Still got it young.
Just about legal to start trading.
Yeah, just about legal. Yeah. It's mad.
How was your journey down here? Because it's about a 3-hour drive,
Yeah,
it
was alright. It was alright, you know. Got the nice V-Class, so...
Well,
living it up.
Not a bad journey.
Yeah, not a bad journey.
You wasn't like Oscar, who was playing his music with the TV sound.
No, yeah.
You put your music up on the
figure
speaker.
out
Yeah. That was mad. Yeah.
We just start off. How did you get into trading?
Basically, putting it short, you know, back then I had a couple issues going on mentally, you know, and basically I was at school at the time, learning trading basically because I heard from a family friend about trading and whatnot, and I always had that entrepreneurial mindset because, you know, I was reselling clothes back then for profits, you know, so I was doing well doing that, and then basically used the money through that to fund my trading. Started off with crypto, lost my money. So how it normally plans out, but basically got into prop firms, and then here we are.
With like the selling, like did you have a platform like an Instagram and stuff? Like how did you get into that with like business mindset wise?
Well, basically I was just running it. A lot of it was mouth to mouth, you know, like mouth to mouth. That sounds forced.
It's already started.
Word of mouth. That's what I meant. Word of mouth. Word of mouth basically was how it did it. You know, through Snapchat and whatnot and Instagram socials. You know, all of that. I was selling on Depop and stuff like that. You know, and basically, made a couple pennies doing that. You know, then invested it.
Was it like clothes, shoes, or everything?
Yeah, you know, it was like Cortez and stuff like that back then. You know, Cortez, and that's what was popping.
And how old were you when you started that?
I was about 17 I think.
So you've always
16.
been looking to work for
I started
yourself
from very young,
So
you're 18 now. Did you leave school and then you're like full-time with trading?
Did you finish school or?
Yeah, so basically I actually dropped out of school because...
Fair play, that's the best way. Fuck school.
100%. Yeah, screw school, boys, you know. Bun school. You know, honestly,
you dropped out.
Means nothing.
When did you drop out? What age was you?
I was 17 or 16, 17,
yeah,
16. Basically, dropped out of school, and then I solely started learning trading. You know, at the time, I was doing work as well for a construction site, just sort of freelancing, trying to get my way because my...
Keep your parents happy, basically.
Basically, that was it at the time, you know. Then, obviously, as the results start to plan out, you know, and play out, things grow, you know, and... opinions change, but that's
a fair point. Like I've never really been into education as such, but also it wasn't like you just dropped down and was like, what do I do? You already probably during school, I don't know, but was doing the reselling. I mean, I was learning to trade in school. I remember I was at school checking my phone on my trading view and whatnot, you know. I was trying to work it out, but then luckily I found my great mentor Charlie. That's mad, isn't it? Because when I was at school, I was just
didn't have a clue,
hiding in the toilets trying to smoke a vape or something. Do you know what I mean? I wasn't thinking about how I could make money as such.
You know, it's always about the mindset, you know, and it's the people you know. Because I was very lucky at the time to have stumbled across Cree Trays. You know, you had him on the podcast, recently, and you know, he helped me from there. You know, built me up from the start to finding my own feet in the trading mode.
So like the start of your journey, was you just straight on with Charlie, or was you dabbling with other YouTubers like Mamba and stuff? And
so that's how I sort of knew about trading. Basically, I knew about trading through obviously family, friends and whatnot, and then I knew about looking on YouTube these simple 5-minute strategies and whatnot. You know, it's all nonsense. You're not gonna find a strategy that works in 5 minutes that's gonna work and be profitable. You know, let's be real. It's just.
But you've had to learn that through trading.
Yeah, you have to do it.
But what you see is what you believe, and you think you know you could flip £100 into 10 grand as an example.
Doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. And you know, luckily I managed to stumble across Charlie, got into the Discord server, and basically that's how we grew together. Really, you know, we were trading 8 till like 4 in the afternoon every day for probably about like half a year to 8 months maybe, you know. And basically I was a baby at the start. I knew nothing, you know. Built me up from the start, got me to where I am now, and you know, things are good.
Did you start? Sorry, on a live account or?
So basically, yeah. So I basically started on a live account, and then lost probably like 20% of the balance. It was only a small account, but it was from money which I made from doing my reselling. Nice. And basically, lost a lot of that. And then Charlie introduced me to prop firms, basically. Then I was running like 10k accounts, blew loads. I blew probably 10 until I passed my first, and they're all with MFF and all that stuff. Back then, accounts weren't cheap back then.
No.
Obviously we've got this wonderful prop firm here, TFF, and we managed to get decent prices in the industry, and hopefully this will be set as the industry standard, at some point, get prices lowered.
Well, you see other prop firms doing 5k accounts now, 2.5k accounts, and it's easy to even like you're talking about the 10k accounts. It's easy to just go, I want to do 100k because I want to make big money. Yeah. But also the increments from a smaller account add up way more. Like the risk to reward ratio, I think for TFF it's like $40-$60 for a 10k max.
Yeah. Right. So right now it's $29 with our code.
Daddy 69.
Yeah. Daddy 69, boys. Yeah. Now, honestly, there's no way of getting rich overnight. It doesn't come like this. And anyone who believes that, I would stop trading today. Don't think it's coming overnight. You got to invest in yourself. It's a longevity thing. You're not trying to get rich overnight and then lose all the money. You want to be consistently profitable in the markets.
It's you're 18 sitting here in our studio doing a podcast. That is crazy in itself. The fact that you've even made a funded account, got there, withdrawn profit at 18. Majority of people, especially watching this, would be in no man's land. Even at someone who's 24 will still be trying to get funded.
Or the ICT traders.
We've already gone
the ICT traders.
But it's crazy in itself, because even a year ago, if you was to say, I'll be at TFF HQ, the journey I did with Charlie would get me to this point, and you putting yourself out there says a lot about yourself. And it's crazy to think how you can go within a short space of time and get to this point.
Oh yeah, as I said, I appreciate you boys so much for getting me on, and it's just crazy because 2 years ago today, I looked at my memories. I had cash in my hand from people buying my clothes and whatnot. I thought I was the man, making like 100 quid over a month or something.
Well, you are, mate. You're doing something other people weren't.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. People, people were out partying, drinking, drugs, all that stuff. I was at home.
Just trying to make something happen.
Trying to make money.
And I have to say,
it's very true.
Not many people are profitable within the first 9 months. 18 months, first year and a half.
Yeah, it's some statistic like that. Like 95% of traders lose, or plus that, isn't it?
100%. Like I've had a friend who was not wanting to take the challenge. He was scared to take the challenge, and he was in his 20s, didn't take the challenge. Yeah. And I don't even know where he is today. Yeah. But you're only 18.
That's what I mean.
And you've gone out your way to buy an account, take the challenge, make money. It says a lot about yourself.
Yeah. And how long have you been training? Because I was going to say, we've had people on here that may take 2, 3, 4 years, and we've interviewed them that take 4 years to be profitable. So what would you say you've done differently to some of these people?
I basically traded for about 1.5 years, or I think it's less. But basically, I'd say I've probably been, I proper locked in at about probably 8 months in. Not 8 months in. Sorry, I've been locked in for the past 8 months. I reckon.
Where you've seen progression as such.
Yeah, at the start, I was very lost. I knew nothing. Honestly, I'm no one special. Anyone can become a profitable trader. It's all in the mind. And that's the thing. I built up from the bottom, and I seek the rewards. I've taken the risk. I bought 100%. Bought that challenge account, blown that challenge account, made that challenge account. Passed phase 1, lost phase 1, passed phase 2, lost phase 2, passed phase 1, passed phase 2.
And that's such a big progression, because I've lost loads of accounts too, and as has everyone else. And it's up to you if you want to make the decision where you quit or you keep going, because it's easy to be like, I'm probably not cut out for this, and especially for someone who's young too. You've got your parents probably saying, you shouldn't do this, shouldn't do that, but you don't listen to the noise, and you take on a challenge. With your trading strategy wise, what pairs are you trading with these accounts?
So basically, I tend to trade Euro USD, GBP USD. I don't really touch on gold. I used to go quite highly focused on gold, but I've settled down with Euro USD and GBP.
Why is that? You didn't continue?
I feel like, you know, gold is a great pair. You know, you can definitely capitalize on it. I just think with my strategy, you know, I used to get liquidated quite often, you know, with stop loss hunts and whatnot. So, you know, you got to adapt as traders. That's what it is.
With like the Euro USD pairs, you could probably stay in a trade for a bit longer maybe, or you haven't got as much like volatile news. And even though gold can make you a lot of money, it can also backfire too.
Exactly.
Are you trading every single day, or like are you a day trader? Are you a swing trader? How many trades you take every week, or if not any?
It all varies basically, you know. So I'll be trading up to like 1 to 3 trades a day. It depends on all day, you know. Obviously, maybe trading multiple different accounts. It all depends on my risk tolerance, you know. Yeah, it all depends on my risk tolerance, you know. Some days I'll be risking 1% on one account, or, you know, upwards to 3%, you know. It depends if it's a challenge account or a funded account. And, you know, weekly, it all varies, you know. It's a lot of variables. I'm happy swinging, and I'm also happy doing a lot of intraday trading or scalping, you know. I'm very, very flexible.
And do you have a thing in place where it's like, 3 losses this week and you're out, or is it more based on the account rules?
I would say it's a lot based on the account rules and how I'm feeling. You know, I've grown to sort of have that mindset where I sort of know, you know. It comes with time, you know. You'll sort of understand whether there's an issue or not, you know.
When you are with your mentor, Charlie, are you like following his signals as such, or are you putting your own like psychology, your own analysis to his setup, or maybe would you go a different way if he says buy and you say sell? Like, how are you working towards that?
So basically, it started off with Charlie at the time. I was following his signals at the start. You know, I was following him literally every single thing he did. You know, every single thing he did. I was basically doing what he did. You know, I was following his footsteps,
learning the technical analysis.
You know, and then as soon as time went on, I sort of learned and went to my own way. And obviously now, you know, we are very individual traders. You know, I trade the way I trade. You know, I'm still learning off him. And this is why I'm so grateful to be great friends with him and great connections with him. You know, obviously I'm here today, you know, and I wouldn't be in this position I am if it wasn't.
It says a lot about yourself, but also Charlie too.
Yeah, exactly.
Because a lot of people are closed-minded. They don't want to tell you the intel as such, even though like you might have been following signals. Look at the friendship that you've got now because of that. And that's the same with me and Oscar, me and Will, and like a few other people. You grow together.
Yeah. It says a lot about you that you're willing, like he's now friends with you as such in that way, because it obviously you had time to show that you were willing to put the work in, listen, and you obviously have time to offer him as well, now, in terms of your knowledge.
Yeah, he was there in my darkest times. You know, I was struggling a lot mentally back then. You know, he helped me so much. You know, I remember so many times, you know, I was like, yo, I want to quit. You know, he would stay up hours when he could have gone to bed. You know, trading's stressful, man. You know, he could have gone to bed, you know, chilled on his phone, do what he wanted to do. But, you know, he took time out of his day to call me and be like, look, I don't want you to quit. And, you know.
And we don't have to talk about this, obviously, but like I struggle mentally as well, you know. If that's because of me not achieving what I want to achieve, or me self-analysing myself and thinking, I you know, I shouldn't have done that, or this, or I'm not as good, or I need to be doing better and stuff like that. Or if it's just, you know, family related or grades and stuff, you've got a lot of pressure from your parents too. What was it mentally?
I think that just a lot of stuff went on back then. You know, I had a lot of family passing and stuff, you know, and it just sort of all built up really. And I was struggling before trading, and then, you know, trading can be hard. You know, I remember times when I'd have losses, you know, I'd go down to my mum and she used to always say, you know, you've got a trading face on because I've lost, you know.
I wish my missus said that.
yeah, you probably have a couple faces. But, yeah, you know, it did affect me a lot of the time, and, you know, and I was so lucky to have someone to pick me up. You know, my parents support me very greatly. You know, at the time they were a bit skeptical, but they still believed in me, you know. My sister's very academic, whereas I'm a bit more different.
I completely understand what you're coming from.
Yeah. So, you know, I was very individually motivated, even though I had such such hard times, you know, I still get up every day, you know, I try my hardest, you know. But we're here now, you know.
So like I don't want to talk about myself, but I'm one of those people where like education wasn't good for me.
Yeah.
Not because I hated school, but I'm only into what I want to be into as such. And you get like your parents, they want a certain vision for you. You might have your family member who's academic or might be succeeding. But with school wise, what was your journey through school?
I was always quite I don't know, when I started off I was bullied quite a lot, you know. I was bullied since young, you know. And I thought that I'm happy that happened, you know, because it built my character. I was bullied like throughout my school, really, you know. I wasn't a naughty kid, but I was sort of like a bit of the class clown. I didn't have great grades, but I had average grades, and then obviously they deteriorated the less I went to school. And I didn't actually end up taking my GCSEs. I didn't take them all and dropped out, obviously, to do my trading. And you know, it was a tough time for me at school. You know, it's not something I enjoyed at all. No.
100%.
And what would you say to someone now going through that?
School doesn't make you. You know, if you want to make money, you know, school's not always the route. You know, yeah, people, if you want to be a doctor or something like that, you know, maybe it's right for you. But if you're trying to make money, don't worry about the GCSEs or the grades. You know, focus on the skill sets.
Like that
Just
class
building
clown,
yourself, yeah.
that class clown personality wise. Did you feel like that got you through school as such? Because obviously you said you got bullied and stuff, but acting up, as I was the person that was always acting up, you know, because school's very like, oh yeah, you're in the bottom set as an example, I'm in the top set, you're away from your friends and stuff, those friends become friends with other people, it's difficult. And you being, as you said, not the naughty kid, but the one who wanted to try and crack the jokes up, maybe lock the teacher in the cupboard or something, which I've done, but like that makes you feel like you're worth something as such.
Yeah, I think there definitely was that, you know. I was maybe a bit insecure or something, you know, something like that. I've never really thought about it too deeply, you know. I've just got on.
Oh, now is the time, mate.
Yeah, now's the time, mate. I am.
We're going deep right now.
So you know, things were tough, but you know, got 100%. Through it in the end. And I definitely think that probably was a coping mechanism, you know, getting some sort of attention in a way or something, you know.
100%. I was the same, by the way, and you know, I've got nothing too.
Yeah.
And school's not for everyone as well.
School's not for everyone, you know.
I don't want to shit on teachers and XYZ because I think Billy was a drama teacher, wasn't you, Billy? But they made me drop business as an example. But look what I have now.
Yeah, it made you drop business.
And it's that you didn't have self-doubt with your grades and stuff. You're like, right, I might have fucked up or not enjoyed school, but I'm going to turn it around with the resetting, get into trading and make something happen. And you even coming on this podcast today, that is a massive stepping stone in your journey of your life.
Massive. Appreciate it, boys. Yeah. That's exactly it, you know. School isn't for everyone, you know. That's the thing at the end of the day, and it doesn't matter whether you like it or not, you know. You got upwards, what's the average life expectancy? 75 years, you know. School's how many years? Like 16,
Too long.
17?
Too long.
Yeah.
Too long.
That's a big part of your life, you know.
100%.
And you don't want to get too caught up in it.
So I don't want to make myself act old because I'm not. I still look young. I believe in that. But we're 8 years difference. And when I was 18, there was no such thing as a prop firm. I think prop firms come around in 2017. I think Fivers was the first one. The Fivers, 5 and a percent. They were the first ones in 2017. But it wasn't quite established until 2020, 2021.
Yeah.
With your journey, was it live broker or was it just straight into prop firms?
So as live broker, and prop firms weren't as big as they are now. You know, things are popping off. You know, TFF's doing insane. You know, it's doing great.
Oh, stop it. They're all doing well, and obviously the ones that don't succeed are dropping off.
Yeah.
But did you have to go through that live brokerage experience where you deposit money into an account, trying to flip it to 10k, or was it just straight into prop firms?
I think there was always a sort of self-conscious sort of thing. You know, I never thought I could do that. You know, I wanted to do it, but I never thought in my head I could do that. So I tried it, you know, I tried to make some money, you know, at the start. I was like, oh, maybe I could do it. No, lost money. And then obviously got diverted to prop firms, MFF, went under. And then I think I went to SFT, which worked out well, you know. I got past my first phase one with them.
That's crazy as well that they even went under.
Yeah. Mate,
because
that was,
we'll probably cut this out, but like obviously like because like the owners of that, like we used to chat to Riz and all of those people, and they didn't have to use Angelo's tech. But the fact that they just went, do you know what, we'll just close it instead of keeping it open, it's just mental.
I thought it was insane. You know, is TFT still open?
TFT, it is still open.
Yeah. Are they still processing?
Well,
payouts?
like they hit like website traffic wise, they hit top 10 still. 1.4 million visits on the website, which is pretty some good numbers. But it's just obviously you're gonna get the odd people who are hating, but the ones that are stable traders making money still from them, they're still gonna trade with them. You know, it's just like any prop firm. Even our prop firm through migration was rocky, but we're still here kicking, doing numbers that. Like before a year ago we would have never thought of doing, and that's just it, you know. And you're gonna get the hate too. However, if anything with TFT, like the fact they reopened and they're trying instead of closing it down, because closing why would you close down if you could continue it? It just doesn't really make sense.
I don't know, and I think a lot of these firms try to run before something big can happen. You know, they'll shut it down so they can just bugger off elsewhere.
Yeah,
you know?
I said to Charlie, I feel like they shouldn't really be closing down as how big they are, and they're probably thinking, right, I've got two decisions: we either keep it running or we close down. I keep the same staff and we'll just rebrand into a different prop firm as such. But what was the size account for SFT?
SFT was only a 10k. You know, it was very small. Obviously, at the start, a lot of people go for the 100k accounts. Don't do that.
Sounds more lucrative, doesn't it?
Yeah. It's just all a mind game. You know, it's all an ego thing. You know, I've seen so many people go for 100k, 200ks for their first account and blow it, and then they've quit trading because they've lost their month's
all their money.
their month's wage. You know, it's just ridiculous. Don't over leverage yourself. You know, you gotta leverage the money you have. You know, you gotta work with what you got.
It's quite mature of you to say that.
Yeah,
because you could go. Because what are you, 50k funded, 10k funded?
I'm over 6 figures in funding with TFF.
Bloody hell! I didn't even know that. I've just spent 3 hours with him. I thought he was 50k, and now he's 6-figure trader, and he's only 18. That is fucking unbelievable. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Yeah, take us through your.
What was I doing when I was 18? I was with the wrong people, clearly.
Yeah. Well.
Take us through that journey.
The journey's been crazy, you know. Like over the past few months, it's sort of like it was all brewing, you know. It's like a look at this guy, man. It's like a boiling pan, you know. It's gonna explode at some point. So I was working so hard, you know, grinding hours on end. You know, I wouldn't come off my PC. I'd spend so many hours on my PC, just knowing it would blow. I knew it would work. You know, I spoke to Charlie every day. He would give me all the advice he could, and you know, the advice worked. And you know, as soon as you pass your first funded account, I would say you've sort of got the mindset then, and sort of you understand how to pass an account,
how to pass the rules.
What it takes mentally as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it's like a system, the rules.
Exactly.
You know, if you can learn how to get the percent, if that's you know, overnight or within a week, it's literally like a game.
Yeah, it's
I love games as well.
Yeah. Slot machines.
But like like the logistics wise with trading in terms of if you need 8% like TFF, and you might have a 10-20 pip SL, and you know if you get 100 pips, you've passed straight away.
Passed, yeah.
And it is like a game. But how long did it take you to get funded on your first one?
I think it literally took me like a year. It took me a year to get past my first phase one. It took me a year.
And how many kind of challenges within that would you say?
I think I passed my first phase one after a year, and then
let me reiterate. Oh shit! I knew I was gonna fuck up. How'd you say it? Reiterate. Right. Hold on. Oh.
We'll have a drink.
Yeah, but as we just explained, I only have one GCSE and that's in English, and they didn't teach me how to speak. So like with your first challenge ball, let's just say that you got funded with, how long was that time frame?
That probably to pass the account?
To pass from phase one, from phase two to funded.
It took me a week to pass my first funded account.
That's unreal trading.
Yeah, so you know, basically what happened was I was is it basically my strategy with funded accounts is risk more to gain more, basically.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, within the rules, you know, don't start doing 5%. You know, you're gonna breach your account if you hit SL. But you know, within the rules, risk a bit more. You know, what are you gonna lose? Your deposit.
Yeah, exactly. And it's only $40, $50, $60. So it's not like you're buying $1 million account where it costs like $3,000 or something like that. So you have more risk reward to play with. And I'm not saying do this, but you could possibly buy a 10K account, buy and sell on a news event and try and pass like that, which you shouldn't do, by the way. But to get funded as an 18-year-old within a week, which probably costs you $40, 1% of a 10K account is $100. You made that back. And how many payouts are you waiting for?
So I think
already received.
So I've received 4 already. I've received 4 payouts already from my boy. I
don't do that part of the job, but that's unreal.
Yeah, what's the overall amount then with
TFS? I don't know the end amount.
Okay. All I know is that he got 300% refund, which is about it was like £320.
320 quid. That's just from a 50k.
Which is nuts, really.
Yeah,
and a
it's
50k is 500. Have you got payout on a 50k yet?
Yeah. I've got about two more payouts waiting on a 50k, which are one's half a grand I think, and then I got another one that's like nearly $1,000 as well. So. Yeah,
mate, that's awesome. That's fair play to you.
Yeah,
it's amazing what prop firms can offer people.
I mean, the risk to reward is massive. You know, you're paying 40 quid for a 10k account. You make 5%. You're making 500 quid. You know, did I say 1% or 5%?
Don't look at me, mate. I'm smiling and nodding, but I don't know.
I was just readjusting. I've missed it. I've missed the main bit.
Yeah. The risk reward is massive. You know, you're paying like 40 quid for an account.
Return on investment, yeah, nuts.
Yeah, it's just insane, you know.
I can't believe that I couldn't believe that you was 18 anyway when I first met you.
You was older than us.
You look at least like 20 plus, but also
I'll take it.
To have that, you know, the mental stuff that you've gone through, and trading isn't easy. The psychology battles, the self development that you take on a day-to-day basis, the stuff that you face. Look at Charlie. In the pub, you know, he's with the boys, but he's straight on the charts, talking to his team, trying to, you know, get his trading in, because it's a lifestyle.
Yeah.
It's not just you can get funded, make money, or if you're away on holiday and stuff, work doesn't stop.
That's exactly
and it's a big toll to have on an individual who's only 18, but also you're getting rewards from that.
Yeah, you know, it's not for the faint-hearted.
You're doing a Tommy now.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's contagious. My disability.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's not for the faint-hearted. You know, basically. Oh, you lost me there.
It's I could just only imagine like when I was 18, or even Tom when you was 18, and like some of the boys behind the camera. It's like when you're 18, like. You feel like you're an adult straight away, but when I was 18, you think you've got it all worked out, but you really haven't, and obviously life throws obstacles in the way.
Yeah.
But you're so straight and got your head screwed on. Yeah, whereas all I could say is in the next 8 years or it's even 5 years, what you could fly. Yeah. Like we were speaking earlier, and you don't really have any social media pages and stuff like that. But the fact you even come on this podcast, like why would you look at you? You've got 1, 2, 3, 5 cameras. You've got 6 people behind the screen listening to your story. Even jumping on this, such a big achievement. Yeah. And it's just so good to see because I would never have done this if I was 18.
Yeah, I just couldn't imagine doing it. I can't believe it either, you know. It's just as surprising for me. But, you know, at the same time as I say it's surprising, you know, I always knew it was going to happen. I manifested it. You know, you believe it. You know, it's the law of attraction at the end of the day, as like Conor McGregor refers to. You know, you got to believe it.
I do like Conor McGregor.
Yeah, I rate him. You can say if you see it, it will happen. Yeah, it's just facts, bro. Like, you know, you can envision it, you'll do it. You know, anything you put your mind to, you'll do it.
When you have a bad trading week, or have you blown any accounts to start with?
Yeah,
like funded accounts. Obviously, challenges.
Funded accounts, no, I haven't blown any.
But you've failed quite a few challenges.
Yeah, a few challenges. Yeah.
How'd you deal with that?
Mentally, you know, at the start it was hard because I hadn't like passed an account before, but now I've got accounts. You know, it's just like it's paid for with a payout. You know, that's how it works, isn't it?
Sorry, I don't want to talk about myself, but like before TFF was a company, right?
Yeah.
And I was funded by FTMO, 400k, and I remember my parents, and this is so true. Like my parents were like, "What do you want for Christmas?" And I said, "Buy me a 400k account." I swear on my life.
Yeah. No, honestly.
And I failed it, by the way. And no, I did. I failed
Christmas
it.
ruined.
And do you know?
No turkey.
No, I failed
mate.
it before Christmas too. They were like, "How's your challenge going?" I'm like, "Oh, it's great." Failed. Yeah, it's great. And I failed it, and I was like, "Oh shit, I've fucked my Christmas present up." And they're asking me, and I'm trying to like, yeah, what's going well? Everything's going well.
Yeah.
But it's because they're not cheap, and even
Yeah.
even $40, like it for some people might not even have $40 to start with,
Yeah.
but.
Ruin the Christmas dinner.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Throw sopping at
But
the
it's until you get funded and get the rewards from that, you
Yeah.
start to believe in what could
exactly.
happen.
What's achievable, you know? It's always pushing the boundaries higher, you know? You see you can do a 10k, you can do a 50k. If I can do a 50k, do 100.
Yeah,
you know?
it's the same.
100 mil, you know? Let's see max allocation in the next.
Because we'll get you on for a part two, obviously.
100%, yeah.
I didn't know
Yeah,
this,
right.
but now you have multiple accounts. You're gonna come back. You know, we've got the
Hopefully.
trader battles
Yeah.
too, which
Yeah, excited for that, boys.
is gonna
That'd
be
great.
unreal. But it is nuts to see. And what do your parents think of this now?
I mean, obviously they support me from the start. You know, they're very proud. You know, and it's funny. I went to my mum this morning. I was saying I'm going on the. Was it this morning? I think it was yesterday. I went downstairs to go see her after. Was messaging Charlie and whatnot, and she goes, no, I'll go there. I was like, and it mad. All the things I said I'd do, I'm doing. You know, I said I'd do
What a
it.
feeling that was.
It's just crazy. I was
Bro,
looking
I
out
worked
the
in
mirror.
a sweet shop at 18, and you're sitting here with all these boys.
Bro,
I was
killing
labouring.
it.
I was labouring.
yeah, a year and a half ago, I was working basically labouring on a carpentry site.
Yeah.
I was messaging my mum in my breaks. I was like, get up. No, I was labouring on a construction site, and I messaging my mum. I was like, I can't see myself doing this. This is not me. Like, I want to get rich. I want to do this. Like, I genuinely was messaging these things. You know, I couldn't do it. I didn't want to do it. You know, I had such bigger dreams, and I knew spending 10 years. You know, trying to build myself up to get like a managing role in some construction site is not going to get me a Lambo on the drive or something.
The difference is you were saying these things, but you actually acted on doing something about
That's
it.
the
as
thing.
Well.
There's a difference between talking and doing. You know, at the end of the day, if you say you're going to do something, do it. You know, what's
100%. And you're still quite young, but
Very.
where do you see yourself in 5 years? And
Uh,
a lot can happen in 5 years.
a lot can happen in 5 years. We can see what can happen
Positively as well.
in,
Not,
yeah, we
not
can see what
negatively.
happens in 1.5.
Where
know?
do you? Yeah, exactly. But where do you see yourself in 5 years?
In 5 years, oh, this is going to be good. Look back on in 5 years. Hopefully, I'll come back on.
Let's hope so, mate.
yeah.
Otherwise, it's going to be very depressing if you're not there.
Yeah, I'll come back in 5 years with like my homeless sack and whatnot. Yeah.
You've always got a space up there.
Yeah.
There's a sofa bed. I'll always sort you out.
Oh, I appreciate that.
But yeah, 5 years. Like, honestly, a lot
5 years.
a lot can change, and you've been funded in a short space of time. You've got a lot of accounts,
So aiming for 250k funding by the end of the year. You know, I want to gain that this year. And you know, maybe even talk it to 500k funding by
Definitely,
the end
you
of
can
the year.
do
You know,
that. Yep,
now I'm
100%.
sort of thinking about it. You know, grow it to 250, 500 by the end of the year, or by next year. You know, we want to be having a million, and then. Look at this guy, bro. He's just, like, I'm slowly. Actually, no. 2 mil. No. 10 mil. Yeah. All right. Let's redo that. 5 years.
but it's you're already 100 plus k funded. You're 18. Like in 5 years'
Wow.
time, if you might not think of this, but like you could have 100k subs. You wouldn't even be a million funded. You'll be 2.5 million.
Yeah.
You might even have your own businesses, your own mentorship. What is the reason why you work so hard already at a short age?
I mean, I work so hard because obviously I've seen my parents work their whole life. You know, they work 9 to 5s and whatnot. You know, and yeah, they've done very well. They've done well. They're not done bad at all, and they're happy. But you know, I've seen they have to get up every morning at 8 o'clock. I'm not saying that we don't. You know, but you know, we'll get it more automated in the future. You know, we'll make so much money that we don't have to get up at certain times every morning. You know, and it just scales from there really. And in 5 years' time, I see myself definitely max allocated, easy, bash that out of the park. 5 mil, Is it 5 mil? Or
2.5.
It's
2.5.
2.5.
2.5, sorry. Yeah, 2.5 mil funding in the next 5 years. Bash that out of the park, you know.
Definitely.
He'll be paying out too much money.
I personally think in 5 years' time, I personally think you'll have everything that you thought and more.
I think you could have 2.5 in a live account if you really.
Because
wanted
like,
to
if I was you sitting there, I probably would have said like, you know, all the cars and stuff like that, you know, help my parents and stuff. Because the way that you're going, you're already like surpassed so many 18-year-olds already, who you have the option, you can go uni, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But if you just focus on one thing and you have a passion for it, a lot can change and a lot can happen, and you learn
100%.
on the way.
Exactly. You know, hopefully scale this to 2.5 mil funding, max allocation, you know, get consistent payouts, build it up, you know, build up a live count maybe, you know, hopefully venture in some potential businesses with you guys, you know. Run some stuff in the future.
But like you've already done the business side with the selling and stuff, and like you're pretty screwed on. So you could easily do your own channel.
Exactly. You know,
could set up your own like unregulated broker as such. Like like generally speaking, like because the FCA is a bit of you know it's hard in the UK, but if you go to Dubai, Cyprus and stuff, you can easily get your own, and it's just learning. Like even the fact like me and you hanging out and stuff, like I think you're a great lad, and like even, as well as hanging out with Charlie, like we're just all on a journey together, and you can learn a lot off each other too.
Yeah. You know, it just feels unreal. You know, in 5 years' time, you know, hopefully I'll be having a nice house like you. You know, a couple cars on the drive.
Yeah.
You know, obviously running the G-Wag early, it just blows my mind. You know, it's inspiring.
Yeah.
Makes me want to push harder. You know, tomorrow morning you'll see me.
And there's someone watching you that's now saying you're inspiring.
Yeah.
So what bit of advice would you have to say to someone?
If I'm inspiring you, you know, take the risk now. Do what I did, and don't look back. You know, take the risk and prosper. That's what it is. You know, it's very easy to say take the risk, but you know, understand that if you don't take it now, you know, yesterday will want you. Do what you wanted to do. What was it yesterday?
Don't look at me like I know.
I keep looking at him like he knows.
I ain't got a clue. Moving on anyway. With the whole social media side of things, do you reckon you'll get back into it after this?
100%. You know, this is my start. You know, I'm gonna build it up for you guys. You know, I want people to be inspired like I was with Charlie. You know, he helped me so massively, and I want to help others the way he did for me. You know, and also it's giving something back to the trading community because you know it's given a lot to me. It saved me. You know, so that's what I want to do.
And will you start videos, or is that like a group, or do you not know yet?
He has to start videos.
Got to start videos.
If he doesn't, he ain't coming back on.
Come back on.
The world, yeah, breach. The world's literally your oyster. Like, you're 18.
Yeah, it's wild.
Like, bro, you don't even understand.
Yeah.
You're 18 and you're even coming here, like I said, you're flying.
Yeah.
You've got so much potential. Other people will look up to you if that's younger or even older because they'll be like, this guy's 18, as they would to Charlie. He's 22. I'm 28. Why? How has he got more than me, and how do I get it?
Exactly. You know, and at the end of the day, I'm no one special. I've not come from some crazy, you know, lows or highs even. You know, I'm just a normal guy. You guys can do it. You know, I'm no one special.
100%.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you want to like sell, basically?
Sell?
Like obviously I said about
did you want to shout yourself out?
Yeah, so basically my Instagram is ts.6.80, so you know, follow me up on there. I'll be doing some reels and whatnot, and I think it's the same on TikTok. It'll be ts.6.
What sort of stuff is it, like chart analysis and that sort of stuff?
A lot of it's sort of like motivational sort of stuff, because that's what sort of helped me pick me up in my
Give
training.
yourself a follow right now.
Oh yeah,
I already follow you.
You already follows me.
Forgot about that.
So
I was only joking. You guys taking the piss now. It's only a joke, and you think I'm being serious. But it's been good to have you on the podcast.
I appreciate it, boys.
Thank you.
I hope you enjoyed the journey.
You're smashing it
with the sprinter and stuff like that, and hopefully we can link up again. I know we got the trader battles.
100%. Get yourself ready for
that. We'll definitely meet again as well. And I just wish you the best in everything you do. And
You
if
too,
you need
boys.
anything, I'm always here, as you know.
Thank you, brother. Cheers, TJ.
Thanks for coming on the podcast.
Oh,
Thank you, Tom.
boss.
It's been a pleasure.
Cheers, man.
Coming.
We'll meet again.
Yeah.
And obviously get a safe journey back, even though
Thank you.
driver's already cancelled. But we've sorted out another
Yeah,
driver.
yeah. Hopefully he'll turn up and I'll get home safe.
100%.
Yeah.
Thank you for watching.
Thank you all
If
very
you
much.
enjoyed, like and subscribe. Follow Tom. He's 18. He's just like all of us on the journey together. Thank you for watching, and
Peace
be ready
out.
for the next
Thank
one.
you.